to me, it all comes back to that concept of, instead of we have to make it big in 3 years or else, that instead of that, we're gonna become a 10-album band. So it's longevity, it's productiveness, it's being prolific. I think that's a very big point. I would underline everything with that. And by the way, if you end up doing 3 albums a year instead of 1 album a year for 3 years, I mean, so be it. You become a 10-album band in 3.5 years. You know, what's wrong with that? Years ago, bands like Kiss, and it was because they were so hot, and I think people wanted to just get their records out. They were doing 2 albums a year, and Casablanca was just putting out these albums, and it was 2 albums a year, 2 albums a year, no matter what, 2 albums a year. Then he'd put out a live album every few albums, and to me that was great because it forced the band to write, it forced the band to develop, and as you write, I mean, you develop. We spoke before about hitting that streak where musicians or songwriters get a little stale or whatever. Hey, look, to me, there's an opportunity window, and people don't normally take advantage of that. And I know so many bands and friends of mine that had real opportunities to do well and to get a major behind them, or to get some type of leg up on the industry. And they probably had, people I'm thinking about, had the means to do well without really trying. They just had a natural knack for a sense of melody that would match up commercially well, and they never took advantage of opportunities that came in front of them. And I think if you're forcing yourself to put out these albums, forcing yourself to be a 10-album band, forcing yourself to write, rehearse, arrange, produce, record, and then ultimately figure out a way to exploit these albums. Much easier now with the internet. I mean, there's no secrets. The other thing I thought, and we spoke before, and you were saying about unsigned bands, people managing unsigned bands. It's one of the most thankless positions that you can do, is to be a manager of an unsigned band. And I'd say, look, if you have someone willing to do it, that's not going to ask you to sign your life away, let them do it. You're an unsigned band, unless you're, this close to really getting a major, and this close to it, let somebody handle you. And if it's a friend of yours and he's going to do it, he's going to hustle, and maybe he's got some shortcomings, explain, look, if we get into a situation where we get a better situation for us, managerial-wise, we'll find a position. We'll call you promoter, or we'll call you agent. We'll make sure that you're a part of this, or road manager, depending on what level you're working with this guy at. And make that deal before it happens. And if the guy's like, well, screw you, then I'm not going to do it, then you talk to each other, work it out among the band, whether it's worth it to lose this individual with that deal or not. I mean, to me, if you have someone that's willing to manage an unsigned band, what you're really getting is a slave, right? Because there's going to be very, very little money, if any money, at first, and the only way you're going to get a deal, or this guy to make any money, or this gal to make any money, is if the band does well. There's an expression: you eat what you kill. And if there's nothing out there, if there's nothing to eat, nobody's 0% of nothing is nothing. 20% of 0 is nothing. I mean, so many people get caught up in, well, this guy wants to manage us and he really doesn't have the clout. You got a guy and he's a little bright, or a gal and she's bright and she wants to hustle and she loves your band. He loves your band. Let him manage your band unless people are fighting over it. The other thing that we've always pitched to artists and unsigned artists is that you're not shopping for a record deal. You're shopping for an offer. What you want is an offer. And once you get the offer, then you shop the offer. So if you you're out there and you're in shopping mode, or somebody's out there trying to nail down a record deal for you, and you get an offer. Nobody knows what it says other than you and the person. But if you could legitimately go to other labels and say, look, we're holding an offer from another label. You want to tell them, or if you feel you have to tell them, you can tell them what label. You don't want to get yourself caught in a lie. But hopefully what that'll do is that'll encourage another offer. But you get a couple of offers, and a lot of people start weighing in. And now, I see it all the time with MySpace. You're getting so many different labels that offer you. People are offering me deals all the time, saying, you know, here's a record deal, and I just have some improv up there. But you're going to get offers, and if you're looking for a deal, get the offer and then shop the offer. You don't have to take the first offer you get. Do something with it quickly. Shop it. Tell people. Exploit it somehow or another. You have a friend that has a label, and it's a reasonable label, and he's saying, look, I'll put you out if you can get something bigger. Go for it. And if that's a stepping stone label, and you know, he or she agrees to allow you to use the label, there you know, that person could benefit as well. You have a situation where your friend's going to put out your record, and he or she has some minor distribution, but really it's going to serve to expose you to a larger label. You know, work out your deal, but just keep in mind that that's what it's going to be.